I'm Kath.
And I'm Stuart.
And this is Nala.
We are Van Navigation.
We all live full-time in our self-converted Mercedes Sprinter. Hello. Follow us as we explore nature and the great outdoors around South Wales, the UK and further afield, attempting to travel the world before we keel over. Morning. This is not a sentence you're going to hear from me very often, but it's at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And we're down in Southampton because we're getting the suspension fixed on the van. So some of you will remember a few weeks ago we discovered a rattle underneath the van and there are some issues with the suspension, and today it's going to be torn apart and overhauled. So no fun adventures today, just suspension stuff. So I'm gonna let Stuart let you do that, and I'm gonna hide out in somebody's house while they're doing it and do some work today. So that's basically our Saturday, which isn't much fun at all, but hopefully we'll have some adventure later on. We parked up last night on a bit of wasteland around the back of the housing estate of Stuart's friend, who's helping with the suspension today. It's probably the least romantic park up we've had to date, but it's flat and it did the job. It's barely 8:30 now. Excuse me. Stuart's just come round to make sure they're all ready for us, and then we're going to take the van round, put it on the drive, and then going to make a start of working on it. Hoping it won't be a long job, just about 3 or 4 hours, and then that should be done then. So we're up at this ungodly hour and we're done.
So we've done one side of the suspension. I'll try and show you the second side now. Yeah, didn't want to film the first one in case it went wrong, but we're pretty good now, so we'll show you how it goes. Yeah, if you needed any proof that the rear shocks had it, here it is. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, they were knackered. Right, let's get this thing in the air. Right, wheel off. We have one bolt to undo at the top there from the inside, and the two on the caliper here and here. Hopefully it's as easy as the other side was. Yeah, the passenger side bolt's easier to get to, thankfully. This underneath the access panel where the tools are. And there's the bolt there. So just this single bolt, undo that, the two underneath, and the whole thing drops out. And then it's just a case of put it all back together again. Alright, the important thing is to try and get it back in the same place as before. I'm going to have to get the alignment checked anyway by a professional, but for the time being, if we mark off on the caliper here, we know when we put it back, it's going to go back in the same place. So when you're doing this, just make sure you don't catch any of these electrical cables. Just unclip it from the damper itself and keep them well out of the way. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Right, one new, one old. These aren't quite as bad as the rears, but let's see how bad they are. There we go, the old one's a lot slower to return, but nowhere near as bad as the rears. And the rears are just 2 bolts. This one here, and this one here. Last time, that come off quite easy then?
Yeah. That was good.
And for those of you that saw it on the other video, the rattle that had developed on the suspension has now been fixed with a great deal of persuasion and a lot less skin on my knuckles. So this was the piece that rattled, and as you can see it no longer does. I just needed the bolts on the U-clip doing up. But, these are particularly hard to get to because of the wiring that's down here. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of lubricant and a lot of brute force. Job's a good one. Wow, what a difference that made. A big shout out to my anonymous friend and all the help he gave us today. Having driven it, I can safely say that the van feels like a new van. That's probably something I should have done a little bit earlier, but there we go, it's done now. We've stopped over at a member of family's house while they were away to make use of the facilities. Thank you very much, you know who you are. And now we're off to find somewhere to park up for the night. Good morning from the New Forest. Cat's doing some work on the computer this morning, so the dog's taking me for a walk. With Nala happy, we can head off to the shops to grab some lunch and then off for a proper walk in the forest.
New Forest traffic jam. Cows, horses, donkeys everywhere. We're running a bit late today because we spent the morning working and a little bit of creativity going. You have to go with it when it's flowing. So it's late afternoon now, but just time to grab a nice walk around the forest. I brought my foraging bag with me and hope that I might find some goodies today. But the mushroom season seems a bit all out of whack this year. We had such a great flush at the end of July that I'm not sure what's going to happen now true autumn has appeared. But anyway, mushrooms or not, how could you not love this? Look at it. Look at these guys. Mother and baby here. Look, little Baba. So cute. Ah, look what I found. Turkey tail mushrooms. Trinites versicolor. And look how pretty they are. That's a big patch of turkey tails taken, and we left lots behind so they can continue to grow. Turkey tails are fantastic. They're used in lots of Eastern medicines as...
Just found some more.
Nearly got that out then. Yeah, they're used in lots of Eastern medicines. So they're really good for your immune system. In Japan, they're taken regularly alongside ordinary traditional cancer medicines. So you have your normal chemotherapy and then you also take turkey tails alongside. We just powder them and we add them to all our meals, but you can take them in tablet form or make a tea out of them or yeah, I won't tell you too much, and I'm certainly not making any medicinal claims for miracle cures or anything, but look it up yourself. Very good complementary medicine. How many types of mushroom can you get on one tree stump? So I think these here are young turkey tails. And then if we come over here, we have Sterium species, probably Sterium hirsutum, which is hairy curtain crust. I don't make the names up. And then something really interesting here that I can't actually ID. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments.
See these little purple pinheads? Well, I suspect that they grow into this. Let's have a little walk around it. I'm afraid I have no idea what this is. And then if we come over here, we have some other stereum species just starting off. And then over here, some aging turkey tails. All on the same tree stump. How fantastic. Like a little mycelium riot. And I find my first beefsteak fungus. Strange name for a fungus? Aha, you'll see why now. So you can slice this up and you can fry it like beef. And if you take a look at it through the fibres, it literally looks like raw beef. You see this here? And just slice it thin. You can dry it and make jerky out of it. You can slice it thin and fry it up. Or you can just put it in things. But yeah, really popular as a beef substitute.
And we've managed to find a flat spot, so I'm just going to cook a little bit of dinner now. Nala's eating hers already, and Stuart's putting the shopping away that we picked up earlier. Time for dinner. See him over there by the lake? Tidying the van he was while I cooked dinner. The van. What are you doing, love?
Taking a video of the crocodile in the lake.
A crocodile?
A crocodile in the lake.
Right, okay.
Belly pork, homemade teriyaki sauce, nuts and rice. One of my favourites. Thank you, darling.
Well, dinner was delicious, even if I do say so myself. It's been a bit of a disjointed weekend this weekend, and a few more to come as well, with all the jobs to do on the van and vet's appointments and getting ready for our overseas trip in January. It's starting to bite into our weekend time now. It'll all be worth it though, I'm sure. So it's back to South Wales now after a lovely walk in the New Forest, and vet's tomorrow morning, and then we're planning to get out for a hike as well tomorrow afternoon.
And that's it. Goodbye to the New Forest for now. We'll be back soon. Hopefully the alligator will still be here. Nothing says driving to Wales like torrential rain on the M4. Joy. Good morning, another early one. Kath's gone off to the vets with the dog to get a jab for our European trip later in the year. She's left me in charge of the washing up. Let's get this done. If only it was this easy in real life. So with the washing up done, the dog's had her jab. She's sulking because she had to have a finger up her bum. Kath's getting on with some work, and we're off to a quarry at the heads of the valleys to do a little walk. It's only about 7.5 miles from here, but it'll take us 3 days to get there because we're limited to 20 mile an hour now. It's true. This road into the quarries only open till 3:30, so we best keep an eye on the time unless we're going to get locked in.
And here we are. We've just parked up near Treville Quarry for a little walk across the hills here. The sun's quite bright in my eyes. Lots of sheep and ponies and things here today, so Nala should enjoy all that. Hello.
It's a bit chilly.
It is a bit. At least the sun's come out. Clearly raining over there on the hills. That's the start of the Bracken Beacons over there. Sheep, forests, mountains, rain. Does it get any Welsher? So there must be 6 or 7 different types of dung mushrooms growing out here. They're really cool. There's literally mushrooms at every inch of floor. Have a look at these.
There's quite a few young ponies up here, so we're going to take Nala a bit further up the quarry for a little bit of peace and quiet. The keener-eyed amongst you may notice it's Kat's turn to drive on the quarry road. Why are we going over here, darling?
So I can sit you on the naughty stone because you're very, very naughty.
Look at her. What are you doing, Nully? Are you on the naughty stone too? Really? So here's the plaque, which does indeed say that the stone is dedicated to a lady called Elizabeth Frances Hopkins. Does anyone know why it's called the naughty stone?
And with views like this, I'd be tempted to be naughty all the time.
And after all that walking, I'm ravenous. It's time for a bit of lunch. I'm going to do, I make this little cheesy fondue thing. It's just really easy. You can make it in about 10 minutes and just do some crusty bread with it. So just 4 ingredients. So crusty bread obviously is the 5th ingredient. So it's just a small jar of carnation evaporated milk. Don't buy condensed milk. I did it a few weeks ago and it was horrible. So evaporated milk.
It was horrible.
We ate it anyway though because we were starving. 100 grams of grated mature cheddar. A teaspoon of mustard or mustard powder. And a tablespoon of corn flour. So I'll grate this up and then I stir the corn flour into this and then add it to this and just heat the whole lot up. It's delicious. And here it is, look at that. All thickened up and glossy. You have to keep stirring it or it goes lumpy. But yes, and then because we're true van lifers, we're just going to eat that straight out of the pan. With our crusty bread. Is it nice?
This is lovely.
I think you can call that a successful lunch. And now we're off for a bit of a walk. It's gone 1:30 already, so we've only got a couple of hours before they lock the place up. The sky's clearing into the distance now, so it's a bit hard to see from here, but Panavan and Cordy over here. We're going to go over to a place called Llanganida tonight. And I'm sure somebody will tell me I've pronounced that wrong, even though I was born and bred in Wales. So yeah, we're going to go over there. The last few nights there's been some really good aurora alerts, and I've seen online that some people have managed to get some really great pictures of the aurora from Llanganida. So we'll see if we get lucky tonight. Look at all this fly tipping, absolutely awful. I don't know who comes to a place this beautiful and just thinks, yeah, that's well done, my rubbish. I mean, look at it. Disgusting.
Miss Winnie.
All the scars from the quarrying up here, creating lakes and pools, and it's crazy. They just cut their way through the middle of a mountain.
If you can look past all the fly tipping, it's actually a really beautiful place to walk. And Nala's happy because there's plenty of water.
Found something quite interesting. Take a look. How many of you have seen the TV show The Last of Us, which is about mushrooms that kind of take over the human body and turn you into living zombies? Well, those mushrooms are based on a real mushroom, and we get them all over the world, but the most common one in the UK is called Cordyceps militaris.
It's not just fly tipping that this place is popular for. Like it or loathe it, there's no denying the artistic talents of some of the locals. And before we know it, time's ticking away. It's time to make our way back to the van and get out before we get locked in. And if ever I wanted a road to test out the upgrades on the suspension, this is it. Welcome to Wales. Your standard Welsh traffic jam. Oh, dog's up, she sniffed them. What's do you make of them, Newly? It's only a short drive to our park up, and I must say, these roads are a darn sight better. The views ain't half bad either. Right, that's us parked up for the night. Someone's had too much exercise, which is a good job, because just outside, there's sheep everywhere. Anyone else detect a common theme?
He's moaning about having to wash up again, but I'm sitting here working. What do you mean I'm on YouTube? Of course I'm working. And make sure you do that properly then, love.
Oh, I will.
Remember that broken Max air fan that we mentioned in last week's video? Well, somebody has picked 6 p.m. on a Monday night to start fixing it. How's it going over there, darling?
Yeah, wonderful. I didn't realise it was 6 p.m, to be fair.
I mean, I'm fairly sure you're supposed to be cooking dinner now and creating more washing up so that you can get on with that too.
And so I did as I was told, cooked dinner and washed up again, all while watching this beautiful sunset. Absolutely gorgeous. Such a beautiful place, ruined by house dwellers. I can confirm that most of this rubbish came from people who came to watch the sunset last night, threw the litter out the window, and then buggered off.
Oh, what a jam-packed weekend it's been again. It's going to be a bit like this really. We try and take a few days of the week just to have some fun and some downtime, but obviously with so many jobs to do before we go overseas, every weekend also means us cramming in van jobs as well. So but yes, Tuesday morning, and Stuart has work in about 3 hours, so I've just sent him out now with the dog in the wind. I don't mind missing today's walk, it really is howling out there, and I'm just washing some dishes, and I'm going to make us both a sandwich before he goes. So don't let him tell you that it's only him that does all the washing up, because that's not true.
What a good weekend. It's turned a little bit inclement now. Hey, we are back in Wales. Again, another massive thank you to my mate in Southampton. Sorted the suspension out a treat. We tested that out in the quarries of Wales yesterday, and it's like a different van. You have to excuse me walking funny. The dog's seen sheep again.
So there you go, that's breakfast cooking, and I guess while that's cooking, I suppose I should really get dressed. That's better. Time to start the day.
Right, that's the dog walked, or should I say, I've been walked by the dog. Anyway, I can smell bacon rolls. That means Cass finished the washing up and she started cooking me some lunch. Let's get back to the the van before this rain really kicks in. Oh, I was right.
Are you ready for bacon?
Think so.
So we're just about to leave Llanganida now and head back to our usual park up that we use during the week when Stuart's in work. We're all in the van and ready to go, but Stuart's taken one look again at the rubbish and he's decided he can't leave it here, so he's off to pick it up. So if you're up on Llanganida last night watching the sunset and you left all your McDonald's rubbish outside the car and then just drove off, don't worry, we picked it up for you.
Dale Allen, you forgot your litter.
See how the universe rewards you? We pick up litter and then we get a beautiful rainbow. Thank you, universe. I realise we talk about litter a lot, but because we're out in these remote places, we really do seem to see the worst of humanity, whether it's fly tipping or just rubbish from the Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever it was you just ate. Yes, fast food outlets, I'm looking at you, you're definitely part of the problem. Litter is just an ongoing problem for us. The whole world is our garden, so when we park up somewhere and then we step out of the van and all we see is litter everywhere, that really bothers us and affects us. I'm sure it does for many of you as well. We really do have to try and do better as a society. Not just throwing litter away, but creating less litter, because in truth there is no way. We only have one planet, and all the rubbish that we create, it stays here. For instance, a plastic bottle takes 450 years to biodegrade, and I'm sure, like us, you all recycle when you do have to use plastics, but unfortunately that isn't the answer, because only 10% of plastics actually get recycled too. Most of them end up in landfill, where they're going to take hundreds of years to break down. I wonder how much plastic will be on the earth in 450 years by the time the plastic bottle you use today broke down. We don't have an answer either, unfortunately. It's in the hands of governments not to tell us not to use plastic straws, but to come up with a long-term plastic alternative. There's plenty of stuff out there now. People making plastics out of mushrooms and algae and all sorts, but none of it's cost effective. So until the government puts their foot down and stops plastic use and stops plastic creation, other alternatives are not going to become mainstream, unfortunately. Now, he's still at it out there. Look at him, bless him. So there you go, that's my little eco rant for today. And yeah, I'm not blaming you guys. We all have to do a bit better, I think. It's awful, but we can certainly start by not just throwing rubbish out of our car windows. Well done.
There you go. Literally 5 minutes of my time is all it took. And look at the place now. Anything you see there now is a white stone.
Yeah, or sheep fluff.
Yeah.
We're just pulling out as a local tour just turned up, so there's lots of people now taking photos of the countryside. Photos that incidentally 5 minutes ago would have been piles of rubbish in the background. So yeah, they get some nice photos now, and we're happy to pick up a bit of rubbish. So I hate to end the video on a more negative note, although definitely positive because the rubbish is gone, but that's us done for another week. We're just heading back now to our regular park up that we use while Stuart's in work for a few days, and then I'll also knuckle down and do some work for a few days, and we'll get on with the less romantic side of van life, which is just ordinary life like the rest of you do wherever you live, for a few days until we're back with our next video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help us, and it helps us continue to make these videos in the future. So we hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you soon.